Hey guys, it's Aru here. Welcome to my first EXP database entry. This is going to be at Star's End, as this is my main grind spot, so I feel like it's fitting that I do it here first. So this is going to be an EXP focused grind, so I am running EXP Lightstones and some crystals, as I can't afford to drop any more AP, unfortunately. The downside of this spot for experience is that you basically need hard cap gear to be able to grind like this and grind it efficiently. Also, you need a very specific class, as not all classes can do the 6 tower method. The ones I'm aware of that can do it is Musa, Succession Sork, Seraph, Dracania, and I think that's it. I'm really not sure. I'm not keeping up with what class is able to do it and which class isn't. All I know is that my 2 classes are able to do it, so I will use that until I can. And I will be using BDO Companion to track the hour to make sure it is a full hour. So yeah, shout out to Choice for that app. Make sure you check them out. And I will obviously be showing the total experience buffs I will be using at the beginning of the grind. So right now I'm at 3.3k, and that should be the whole hour for 3.3k. Oh, actually, this is my bad. I just did a whole rotation without the guild buff pop, so the current rate is actually 3.5k. So yeah, I mean, not a big deal. We can start the timer from here. So as I'm going here, I'm going to try to explain like how I'm doing this. So this one, you just DPS as fast as you can. And here, I kind of wait for this guy to start floating away. And that's when I destroy the crystal. So once that guy floats away, I'm free to destroy the crystal. If it explodes like that, I just DPS stuff here. And go on like that. Here, I instantly leave the loot to break this crystal. Go back, pick up my loot. I don't kill any extra mobs because they'll make me loot more, and I'll miss on the DPS phase of this tower. I basically leave this immediately, destroy this tower, and here you kind of want to kill the mobs bit by bit so you can have maximum pet pickup uptime. So you want to get them relatively close to the pack, so while you're DPSing this pack, you're still picking up loot. And that's what the spot is mostly about, just optimizing the pickup time of your pets. And that's what's going to get you the best trash per hour here, which I know, like, yeah, trash per hour basically directly reflects your EXP per hour as well. Here, I just kind of wait for there to be a bit of loot left, and I slowly just make my way up. And I make sure to Z-buff there too. And as you can see, like here, I was basically almost on spawns with... And I just messed up. Okay, this is gonna be tough. I don't know if I can make this. But yeah, you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to wait a little bit. I still made it. It's kind of crazy. I feel like that's only something Seraph can do because it's so broken here. But yeah, you don't want a Z buff here just yet. You always want a Z buff after you destroy the first tower. So here, I like to destroy this tower. I Z buff right here, and after my Z buff is done, this guy's basically off floating, so that's when I kill this tower. So you just Z buff, wait like a tiny little bit, and start DPSing the tower. Here you just wait to pick up an extra phase of loot. As you can see, I left right when my pets picked up the loot there for the second time. So yeah, like as I said, this is all about optimizing your pet pickup time, and by waiting an extra phase there, you get here a little bit early, so it gives you some more time to DPS. So yeah, this spot is all about that, just making sure your pets are working as efficiently as possible, and that's how you're going to get the best trash here, which will also correlate to getting the best experience you possibly can here. But yeah, I think the rest of the grind hour I will be speeding up, just because like we have the BDO companion timer there, so you definitely know that this is a full proper hour, so I don't need to show you guys the whole grind hour, as that just hinders my upload time and how quick I can get these videos out. So yeah, just follow the timer to know it's legit. So whenever an apostle spawns in either of these two towers, you want to DPS it as much as you can in that first little tower there. Of course, the tower blows up. But you definitely want to make sure it doesn't reset. So you want to keep it kind of like on edge here, because if you bring it like up to here, it'll reset. So you have to make sure he stays right about there, and just DPS him down, along with all these little extras from both the towers. And generally, I like to just loot both the spots, just like that. And here, I just do a double tower. So I just do the classic little double tower here. Wait for that to spawn up the mobs a little bit, so I have some time to go back there. DPS this. Leave immediately. DPS this other part. And I just wait for the extra ads to just group up here, and I loot everything here. Once I finish killing them, I go back to the first tower, and I move on to the next tower after I loot everything. So the apostle makes it so your grind has to be a little bit dynamic. But once you figure out like all the optimizations, it doesn't really ruin your grind speed that much. So if an apostle spawns here, it is very likely it'll reset when you go pick up the loot. So unfortunately, you're gonna have to deal with that. And you're just going to have to DPS it on that tower. I'll just demonstrate that real quick. He turns invisible. I gotta love that, you know? But yeah, like all these extra ads, you will just DPS here. And once you finish DPSing this apostle, I will just usually kill this tower. Go back to loot here, you know, the traditional strat. Unfortunately, there wasn't much loot left there because I killed the apostle fairly slow. So that definitely affects my grind speed a little bit. But yeah, you just pick up all the loot here, and you bring the ads over here. And that, I feel like that's the best method of doing that. You can also double up the towers, the one in the corner over there. Many different strats you can do. This one's a bit time sensitive because the closer to get to where I was there, the more likely it is that those mobs will actually go back to where they came from. So you definitely don't want that, so it's quite a sensitive DPS check there. But if you do it right, you get all the loot from those extra mobs there. Now, the downside of the Apostle is that the tower doesn't spawn in time sometimes, so it's because you're making the tower out of sync, so it's just kind of how it is. Nothing you can do. That's why killing that tower, like doubling up that tower with this tower, is probably the best thing to do, so you don't run into the issue I just did. And of course, the bug still happens from time to time. I have no idea how to prevent it. So unfortunately, it's just something you have to deal with. But the next time around, it's generally fixed. So it only happens here and there. But the reason I always do that tower first is because this first tower, if you kill it first, it is way more likely to bug out. That's why I go the extra distance, even though it'd be faster to kill this tower first. I do realize that, but it's just a bug, and it's just never going to get fixed probably, so it's just something you have to deal with. That's unfortunate. We just missed the buff expiry for the little final few mobs there. It looks like a BDO companion missed that Debo right at the end there. Alright. Alright, so let's quickly go over how the EXP data entry works. So I pick a time in the video that's most ideal for the data start. So in this case, it was 5 minutes, 25 seconds. This is where I realized I didn't pop guild buff, so it's a little bit under an hour, but we're at 3,506%, starting at 25.941. We have both those input, EXP buffs, and then our finish time is an hour and 2 minutes, 53 seconds. So right here, my buffs are about to expire, 20 seconds left on them. I think this just rolled over to 0.53, which is why I chose this time specifically. Yeah, as you can see, 0.52, 0.53. So that's the most accurate I can get it. That's why I chose that time. Whenever it rolls over, that's probably the best time to choose. So between this time frame, I gained 0.112%, which normalized to an hour and raw EXP, meaning we are removing this buff. So it's going to be divided by 35. This divided by 35 is going to get us our raw EXP. And now here we have the little calculator for how much experience you can expect, for example. So just pick any modifier you want, how much you're going to run. And then whatever your trash per hour is going to be, 2600 at DSR. So that's what you can expect at DSR, 2600 loot at 3000% experience. You get 0.047 per hour at level 67. Now at Star's End, this calculation doesn't work as well because obviously the apostles inflate the trash per hour. So you would have to know your trash per hour without apostles to actually use this calculation properly. So unfortunately, that one is kind of scuffed, but it is what it is. Sometimes it's just like that. And then tier list here, again, you can normalize to whatever experience you want right here. It's going to show you how much you can expect at the spot at whatever percent. And then obviously it shows you how much trash per hour you have to pull this percentage. And lastly, I have an EXP compare sheet. Basically from the list, you'd select a spot and it would tell you how much better or worse a spot is. So Star's End is 93% better than Dark Seekers. But if you were to reverse it, Dark Seekers is 51% worse than Star's End. So, I mean, like, a little cool thing there just to play around with. I mean, you could basically conclude that based off this, but, you know, it's here. So, yeah.